My name's Sarah Carter, and I am currently serving in Myanmar. And the vision for the work I'm doing in Myanmar is to serve the poor and to see a church planting movement just rise up through the poor in the city where I'm living. But I am a Southern California girl through and through. I was born and raised in San Diego, California, and then went to college in Los Angeles. And through a series of unexpected events, I moved back to my hometown of San Diego with the goal of starting a business. But God really had a different plan for me. And for that season, he actually brought my aunt from Alabama all the way to California at that time to come visit us. And while she was with us, within the first week, actually, she had a stroke and was later diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer. And so I took care of my aunt for about 6 months until sadly she passed away. And when she passed away and I was just navigating the sadness and really the trauma of being a caretaker for someone, God just responded and he said, you didn't go through these, 6 months of pain and struggle to just go back to where you were. So coming out of that season, I found myself in the most unexpected of places, Waco, Texas. And my little brother, he went to Baylor, and that was my connection to Waco. And so I moved to Waco, and at that point, I had only heard rumors of Antioch. And so when I moved to Waco, I knew I have to visit this church. And so within a week of me moving to Waco, I visited Antioch, and after church was invited to a life group and made my first friend. And from a period of June to October, I went from only knowing one person when I moved to Waco to making friends, to serving on the worship team, to being connected to a life group. And in those few months, I was just amazed by how much God was able to do in my life in that short period of time. In 2017, I attended my first ever World Mandate, and I entered the conference knowing that there would be a call to go to the nations, and I believed in the importance of that. But by the time the conference had ended, all I could hear from God was stay, not go. Another year rolls by, and I'm serving on the worship team for World Mandate 2018. And on Saturday night, JT Thomas is the speaker, and during his ministry time, he has the band come on stage, and he takes a moment and he zooms in on the African Americans in the audience, and he asks them to stand. And I don't remember his exact words, but it's something along the lines of, oh man, my Black brothers and sisters, we are called to go to the nations. And he challenges us and he says, will you go? The night goes by and God says, stay, don't go. And at that point, I was thinking that he was going to tell me to go to the nations. But now looking back, I'm realizing that night he was planting a seed for what he was going to speak 1 year from then. So 2019 rolls around, and I'm thinking that World Mandate that year is going to be business as usual, that God's going to say, stay, don't go, all over again. And so that's how I entered World Mandate that year. After we lead the first set of worship, Dana Curry takes the stage, and she just starts her message telling her story. And at this point, I'm backstage, and as her story unfolds, I'm sitting on the couches backstage and find myself weeping. I am undone. I know that something is shifting inside of me. I don't know what's going on at this point. I don't feel like I can hear God and don't feel like I can hear what he's saying, but all I know is that I'm extremely emotional, and I feel like he's about to say something. I just haven't heard it yet. As we get towards the end of the day, though, I start feeling a little indignant, if I'm being honest. I'm thinking about how God has spoken that Waco is the place where I'm supposed to be digging deep roots in 2019. And here he is having me undone over, this message about going to the nations. And So I find myself at that evening session on Saturday night, and Jimmy is talking about the time is now. And I'm sitting in my chair talking to God, letting him know, reminding him that he said, I'm digging deep roots in Waco this year. I can't remember how many times I said that to him that night. But finally, Jimmy, he gets to this line where he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm running hard these next 2 years. And at that moment, God finally speaks to me and responds, and he says, I want you to run hard with him. So after having this life-changing moment on Saturday night, I was just going back and forth with God, seeing if he could give me more vision for what he was speaking. And as the hours go by, I slowly hearing him saying, okay, I want you to run hard overseas for 2 years wherever you're needed. So a couple days later, I connect with our global director, Don Stedman, and I share with him just this vision that God shared with me, and submitted that I would be willing to go wherever I was needed to serve for 2 years. And he responded with this opportunity that I would have to be a part of the work that's happening in Myanmar. For those of you who may have never heard of Myanmar, Myanmar is this beautiful country with over 54 million people, and 45 million of those people are unreached. So you can imagine that it's just an honor for me to be here and really being Jesus's hands and feet with the poor. So right now, I know there are some of you out there who are sitting in your seats and you're feeling something shift inside of you. Or there may be some of you where you're thinking, no, I think I'm in the right place in my life. I think I'm where God wants me to be. I still would challenge you to just use this weekend as a time to open your hands and surrender and tell God, I want to dream alongside you. God, what is the dream that you have for this next season of my life? Is your dream for me to go? Is it for me to stay? He may say that, but man, if he says to go, oh, that yes is going to shift eternity. It is going to be something that it shapes the kingdom, and you won't regret it. And you'll find throughout the journey that Jesus is so worth it. He's always been worth it, and he will always, always, always be worth it.